So we are going to start the next topic with you, the next chapter in your NCRTs, I can say, that is on work, energy and power. We have to go in detail of this unit. So the previous knowledge with you about the dot product of the vectors. The quantity which we get because of dot product of two vectors is a scalar quantity. When I want to find the dot product of A with B, A dot B, if I write, then it is written as, I can write the projection of B on A, or if I write B dot A, then I can take the projection of A on B. So as a result, if I write A dot B or I write B dot A, the results I am getting the same. So that is simply to prove that it is commutative. Basic definition with you should be clear with all of you. That work is said to be done when force applied on a body produces motion in it. It means I am applying the force, and by the application of force I am able to move the body. Like if I am applying the force on this body, I am able to move it. Then only I will say that work is done. If I am applying the force and I am not able to move the body, like I am at this minute the body is not moving though I am applying the force, then scientifically I will say no work has been done. It means for work to be done on applying the force, the displacement has to be there. And when I have to write it mathematically, I will say that the force is the product of the component of force in the direction of the displacement and the magnitude of this displacement. So it means if the force is applied in the in this direction and the body is moving in this direction only, then it is simply I have to take the product of the force and the displacement. But if the force is making an angle like this, is making an angle theta with the direction of the displacement, then I have to take the projection of the force in the direction of displacement, that will be F cos theta. So I can write it as F cos theta into S. So by definition, work done is defined as the component of the force in the direction of displacement multiplied with the displacement. So it can be written as F cos theta into the displacement. So what it is, I can write it in brief like Fs cos theta, but I know Fs cos theta is nothing but it is F dot S. So this is another way of writing the work done. Work done can be written as dot product of force and displacement. Now force is a vector quantity, displacement is also a vector quantity. Being the dot product of two vectors, work done is a scalar quantity. This you to remember that work done is a scalar quantity. And the definition of this you should be knowing. So here always we have to take the component of force in the direction of displacement. By the definition, you will not be taking the component of displacement in the direction of force. That will not be correct here. By the definition we have to go, and by definition we have to take component of the force in the direction of displacement. This definition is to be noted very carefully, that we are taking the component of force in the direction of displacement, and then this component of the force is being multiplied with the displacement. As a result, I am able to write it as the dot product of two vectors. So it means the previous knowledge of dot product of vectors should be there with you, so that whenever the question is coming on work done, you are able to apply the dot product of vectors and you are able to solve the numericals and the other questions with you. Now depending upon the theta, like if I am moving in this direction, I am applying the force in this direction, body is moving in the same direction, then theta is 0. So when theta is 0, right, that cos 0 is 1. So work done, it is simply multiplying the force with displacement. So in this case, I can say that work done is positive. It means I can say that work done is positive even if I take some theta is there, but that is less than 90 degree. Again, I get the positive value of cos theta, and as a result, work done is always positive, and the maximum value of the positive work done is when theta is 0. So when theta is 0, the work done is maximum positive. This you have to note. And of course, if I have the theta equals to 90 degree, it means force is being applied perpendicularly and the body is moving in this direction. Like in some rollers, you can say in some when you have to move, if you are applying the force at 90 degree, then no work is being done. That examples of this you can have in your mind. When the body is moving in the circular path, that also can be taken as an example, that force it is acting the centripetal force towards the center and the body is moving along the tangent, that is 90 degree, making an angle. So in that case also the work done is 0. So you have to simply look for the cases when work done it can be 0. For that, theta is equals to 90 degree, or the second choice can be that you are applying the force and the body is not moving. It means displacement is 0. So like if you start pushing the wall is not moving, though you are applying the force, then also the work done will be 0. So in two cases work done can be 0. One, theta is 90. Second choice you can have that when there is no displacement on the application of force, then also you will say work done is 0. Examples for the positive work done, negative work done, you can always have in your mind, as I've said, that work done by the gravitational force on a satellite is 0 because force is acting perpendicular to the direction of motion of satellite. Work done by the sun on the earth is also 0 again because earth is moving in the path. Then also the theta is coming out to be 90 degree. If you are throwing a ball vertically, work done by our force is positive because you are throwing it vertically and ball is moving vertically up. Then both are in the same direction. So work done is positive. But if you take the work done by the gravitational force which is acting in the downward direction, then work done by the gravitational force is negative. So you can be asked with various questions where you have to decide whether the work done is positive, negative or 0. Like when the ball is falling back, the work done by the gravitational force is positive because the direction of the ball as well as your gravitational force becomes same. So you have to see in which direction the force is acting and in which direction the body is moving. Displacement, you have to see the direction of displacement vector and then you have to decide. These are few points you can note that of course, as we have said, work done is a scalar quantity, but it can have positive, 0 or negative values. Negative work does not mean that it is a vector quantity. It is simply showing you that the direction of the displacement is opposite. Work done because it is force into displacement, so you can write its dimensional formula mLt minus 2 into L. So you are getting mL2 T minus 2. If you want to write work done in component form, then F dot S, I dot I is 1, J dot J is 1, K dot K is 1. So by that knowledge, you can write the work done in the component form. If we talk about the units of the work done, that is joule, SI unit, and 1 joule is given by 1 Newton into 1 meter. So 1 joule you can write simply 1 Newton meter. If you have been asked to define 1 joule, then of course it is the amount of work done when 1 Newton of force is acting on a body and it displaces it through 1 meter distance. If I go with the CGS unit of work, that is 1 erg. 1 erg you can always calculate. It is coming out to be equals to 10 raised to the power minus joule, or you can say 1 joule it is equals to 10 raised to the power 7 erg. So many times in numericals, if you have to convert the CGS into SI unit, you should be able to do. And we use many times in numericals, you come across electron volt also. Then 1 electron volt, the value that should be known to you. Of course, this is on the electricity, electrostatics basis, work done in bringing a unit charge. From there, this unit has been taken, electron volt in terms of potential. that is equals to 1.6 into 10 to the minus 19 joule. 1 calorie, you can write 4.2 joules nearly, you can write 4.2 joules. If these units are sometimes used in numericals, you should be able to convert it into joule, because we have to always work in the SI system of units. Similarly, 1 kilowatt hour, that is equals to 3.6 into 10 to the power 6 joule. So these values you can note, so that whenever required you can use it comfortably. This is one question I have taken for you. That sign of work done, because it is important to understand, you have to simply tell for following quantities whether the work done is positive or negative. Like if work done by a man in lifting a bucket out of the well by means of rope. If you are bringing the bucket out of the well, then bucket is coming out and you are also pulling it up, so theta is 0. So you can say work done is positive. Work done by the gravitational force in above case. Now you are taking the bucket out, but gravitational force is acting in the downward direction, so theta will be 180. So you can say that work done is negative. Work done by friction on a body. By friction on a body sliding down an inclined plane. Again, because when you are talking about you are moving the body up an inclined plane, you want to move it up an inclined plane, you want to move it up, but friction is coming in the downward direction. So motion and the frictional force, they are acting in the opposite direction, so theta is 180, so work done will be negative. Work done by an applied force on a body moving on a rough horizontal plane with uniform velocity. Now you are making the body to move either on the rough plane, but the body is moving with uniform velocity. It means you have overcome the opposing force, and due to the applied force only the body is moving in the same direction, so work done will be positive. Work done by the resistive force of air on a vibrating pendulum. Like we have done the simple pendulum, bob is rotating about its mean position, and of course it is because of the air resistance, it comes to rest after some time, it will not keep rotating all the time. So work done is always negative, because the air resistance is acting in opposite direction to the movement. So you can be asked with these one marker questions, any one example, they can just simply ask you whether the work done is positive or negative and why. So you should be knowing the reason, that why are you saying the work done as positive or negative. Similarly, if you have these type of question, of course the knowledge of dot product of vectors should be there with you. Like the question is that a body is constrained to move along z axis. It means body is moving along z axis, k cap direction, of a coordinate system subject to a constant force. Of course, you should be knowing whatever formula we have discussed, F dot S, here we are assuming all the times the force is constant. So, constant force is given by minus I cap plus 2j cap plus 3k cap. In Newton, they are giving you the force. Of course, you are aware of IJK, they are the unit vectors along x, y and z axis of the system. You have to find the work done by this force in moving the body a distance of 4 meter along z axis. So distance is only along the k cap direction. It is not moving along x or y. So displacement vector, you can write it as 0 I cap plus 0 j cap plus 4 k cap. F vector, constant force is given to you. This is not changing. Then work done, yours can be given by the dot product of F dot S, and you should be able to write it in the component form. It means x component of F, and this I cap dot I dot I is 1. So 0 multiplied with anything will be 0 only. Similarly, J dot J will be 1. This is also will become 0, 0 multiplied 2. And here if you take k dot k, then 4 into 3 will be equals to 12. So 12 joule is the answer with you. So depending upon, they may have the displacement along x and y direction also, then you are supposed to take all the multiplications and you have to add up the things. So in this particular case, it is 0 plus 0 plus 12 and I am getting the result equals to 12 joule. So the dot product of vectors, either they can give you in terms of theta or they can give you in the component form. Both the ways you should be able to work out the things that you need to take care of. And of course, you should be having this thing in your mind that all the time we are talking about the constant force when we are talking about the dot product of the vectors here in these particular cases. So I think we can move ahead. Now the question is that if work is done by a variable force, now force is not constant, rather the force is varying. Now if the force is varying, then what I have to do? How can I find the work done? Then what I will be doing? I can divide it into smaller parts and I can add up all the areas. If I have the force displacement graph, if I have a straight line, then directly I can take the area under the force time graph, or the constant force can be taken. That will be quite simple. Now if the force is not constant, then I have the areas are changing. If I have some regular shape, some triangle, some rectangle, for constant force it is quite easy. I can find the work done by simply finding the area under force displacement graph. Now if it is varying, then I have to divide it into smaller areas. I have to add up all these areas. So work done can be given by the summation of the product of the force and the displacements. Like for this I can take the force is constant, for this the force is constant, this force is constant. Then but it will become very tedious with me. So the best approach where I can do questions with variable force with me is to use the calculus method. So if we are taking these intervals are approaching 0, I can take the work done summation can be replaced by the integration. When of course I have taken the intervals very small, then I can write work done as the integral of f dx or fx into delta x from initial position xi to xf final position. So from where to where I have to find the work done, I have to take the integration of that particular thing. Or another method is of course we can use by finding the area under the force displacement graph. If I can divide this variable force into the regular shapes, I can do it by area method. If it is cannot be done by the area method, then I have to do it by the calculus method. So whenever variable force is coming, so two methods are. It means on both the methods I have written one question for each method here. Like first question I am reading for you, that a particle is moving along x-axis from x equals to 0 to 5 meter under the influence of the force F is given by 7 minus 2x plus 3x square. Now when x will vary, it means force will also vary. When position is changing, force is changing, because force is a function of the position or the distance. So you have to, it means force is variable, it is not constant. So you have to find the work done in this process. So for doing the work done, you will be using the integration method here. That is, work done can be given by the integral from 0 to 5 initial position to final position f dx. The value of f is given. You can put, and you should be knowing the formula of the integration. Integration of a constant is x. Integration of x power n is x power n plus 1 divided by n plus 1. So if I take the integration of x, it will become x square by 2. If I take integration of x square, it will become x cube by 3. And these numerals 2 and 3 will remain as such. In multiplication being constant, you will always take them out. So, and for After solving the integration, you have to put the limits, and you know it is always upper limit minus lower limit. So when I put upper limit, I am getting the value 7 into 5, that is 35, minus 5 square, that is 25, and 5 cube, that is 125, minus lower limit. Lower limit, when I put the value 0, in all these three terms becomes 0. So I have not written that lower limit. But you should know, always after working out with the integration, whenever you have to put the limit, supposingly in place of 0, they give you time from 1 to 5 displacement. Then 1 meter to 5 meter. Then what you will be doing, you have to always work out with the upper limit minus lower limit. In this particular question, lower limit is 0. So I am not getting any value for that lower limit. Simply by solving this, I will get the answer. And of course, whenever you work out with any numerical, units are must. You have to write the unit, because you have done so much work and you have not written the unit, then your mark will be deducted. You should be aware of this. So this was if I am having the question where the force is variable and I can do it simply by calculus method. Or then other type of questions you can get, that you can be given with the force displacement graph and they can ask you to find the work done. Then work done is always given by the area under force displacement graph. Force is given in Newton, displacement is given in meters, so of course the units for the work done will be joule. So you have to add up all the areas, like moving from A to B, you can divide it into various parts, like from 1 to 2 meter you are moving, or 2 to 3 you are moving, 3 to 4 you are moving, 4 to 5 you are moving, and you will be taking the area under this 1 to 2, that is simply a rectangle. So this is 10 Newton into 1 meter. Here it becomes a trapezium, so you should be knowing the formula for finding the area of trapezium, that is 1 by 2 into this 10 plus 15, sum of the parallel sides. And this triangle, that is 1 by 2, 1 into this distance, force is 15. So you will be multiplying, and this is going the negative work, because the force it is going on the negative side. So this positive and negative, they are getting the same values and they will cancel, and you have to add simply these first two terms to get the answer, which is coming out to be 22.5 joule. So of course units you should take care, and otherwise you will be getting very simple questions on work done. The questions are not difficult, but of course if they include friction and all, then you have to think, as we have discussed in the previous lectures also. Next term with you is energy. After work done, we have to do with the next term, that is energy. That is of course the ability to do work. Or we can say that the amount of energy possessed by the body is equals to the amount of work it can do. Like work done, energy is also a scalar quantity. And units and dimensions for the energy are same as that of work done. So it means unit for energy is joule, SI unit, CGS is of course earth. You can say many types of energy, different types of energy, different forms of energy. You can say, like basically in your syllabus we have to deal with the mechanical energy. Mechanical energy which can be of two, further divided into two parts, that is potential energy and kinetic energy. Mechanical energy, it means that is the energy possessed by a body by virtue of its position as well as its motion. That is the mechanical energy. So this we have to deal in detail, and except for this you can have the other forms of energies also with you, like heat energy, light energy, sound energy, chemical energy, and so on. You can name number of energies with you. So but we have to basically focus mechanical energy according to your syllabus. So mechanical energy, when I am dealing with, so I have to deal with the potential energy and kinetic energy separately. So kinetic energy, that is the energy defined, energy possessed by a body by virtue of its motion. It means due to its speed, I can say the energy with whatever is possessed, like when you are holding a stone and a string and then you release it. That is the potential energy. You are changing its configuration. But if a car is moving, then the energy possessed by the car is, and it is going to hit, that is its due to its motion. So you should be able to see the potential energy and the kinetic energy defined, and you can find various examples where the energy is potential, where it is kinetic. Potential energy is because of its position or configuration. Like if I am saying I am stretching a rubber, then the energy possessed in the stretched rubber is the potential energy. Now this potential energy, when we will deal in detail, I can have three types of potential energy with me. One is the gravitational potential energy, another is elastic potential energy, third one is electrostatic potential energy. Gravitational potential energy, like when you are having because of the height, you are raising the body to certain height and it is possessing the energy that because of its position, I can say, to be more appropriate. So that is because of its position above the surface of earth. So potential energy because of its position above the surface of earth, that is the gravitational potential energy. While the elastic potential energy is because of stretching of a spring or stretching of a rubber, you can say, because of the stretched position, or you can say that is the elastic potential energy. It means I am bringing the change in the configuration. Electrostatic potential energy, that is the energy possessed between the charges. That of course is not to be done in 11th class. That we will discuss in class 12th. So basically in 11th we have to discuss the gravitational potential energy and elastic potential energy. And of course we have to go in detail of kinetic energy also. All these things we will continue in the next lecture. About the energy we will talk in detail in the next lecture. This is just to give you a idea so that you may come after reading for the next class. Keep things up. Thank you.